we've had quite a few listings coming to market in January. And in fact, and this is just, again, just to give you a peek behind the curtain, because the data doesn't always tell you what's happening. And it was a little bit of a risk to list some places in January, knowing that it's just generally slower for the reasons that we've already discussed. We did have a detached house get listed in Midtown last week. The house was a beautiful character home. It did need a lot of work in terms of the fact that it needed some repairs behind the walls. So things like knob and tube wiring, some waterproofing, some roof, like all that stuff that's not very sexy. But in the price category that this hovered, which was just under that $2 million mark, there was almost 100 private showings in a week and almost 100 people attending the open houses on the weekend. So that's like 200. Of course, people are repeating. Okay, so I'm not saying that all of these are unique buyers every time, but we had about 200 people plus or minus through over a 1 week period, with 10 offers on the property 2 days ago, and for it selling higher, much higher than the list price, which of course was a marketing number. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was at the open house on Saturday and Ralph was there on Sunday. And it was just interesting to see all of these people coming through that were very interested in the area and this style of house, but also that this price point seemed effortless to them. And any of these threats of tariffs or anything that people were concerned about sort of in the general social media or mainstream media world were not top of mind for anyone searching in this particular location or price category. And so I just found that really interesting, is that there's buyers out there that can afford these houses. And that's likely due to the fact that they have parents that can help them out, or inheritance of some kind, or they have really well-paying jobs. But I was just like, this was not phasing anyone out there. And so that property did exceptionally well. And then we also had a huge house out in Oakville, which isn't an area that we normally work in. But we were connected to this lovely couple who have a massive house out there. And that house sold within a week. It's still conditional right now, but lots of interest on the house.
And still, we're getting calls from agents. If it doesn't go through, we want to offer on it. Again, like, not the type of energy we were expecting for January in this type of environment. With these two properties, it definitely feels like 2022 kind of energy and vibes, which is, again, just anecdotal, but we are seeing it. We have 3 other houses that came to market this week, 2 houses and a luxury penthouse, actually, all of which has been getting an extreme amount of interest and showings.
Yeah. So I think that's something I just wanted to bring it up because I want to see what the February numbers look like. And I just want buyers and sellers to know how kind of we're feeling behind the scenes, because the data only tells you so much. And it's sometimes these instincts that are really give us the impetus to consult with our buyers and sellers about how to move forward. It's more like the niggle than it is about the data, or it's a combination of the both. So I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that.
It's been surprising. Like, it's not something we were anticipating. So this does not make a trend. This is anecdotal information.
Of course, we're not trying to
But
force.
we are talking about a property in Midtown, a property in Oakville, a property in the Junction, a property in Etobicoke, and a penthouse in downtown Toronto. And we also sold an investment property with a multi-unit property right at the beginning of January.
Oh, yeah.
So it is kind of a dichotomy of everything but 1 bedrooms, 1+ dens, and studios. Smaller units we're not putting to market right now, but everything else, surprisingly, even in the face of some of the numbers we saw for January, seem to be doing well. And yes, we consider ourselves to be great marketers, but the energy and the conversations and just the overall vibes has been really positive in the face of everything. So we'll see if this continues, but it is really interesting to note. And so I'm really glad you brought that up, Kori.